What's going on, boys? NealGuides here. Welcome back to another video. Now in today's video we're going to go over the 352 custom tactics update. I know many of you guys, as we know, first of all, Foot Champs has now changed. The timing's a bit later, so by the time you're watching this, Foot Champs should be starting in a couple of hours. Now, this is going to be the most sweatiest, or one of the most sweatiest weekend leagues that you're ever going to play. And people have been saying to me, I like the 352, Neil, but the problem is that it's too attacking. So I'm going to give you more of a defensive, balanced 3-5-2 that you can use, for example, when you're 1-0 ahead or when you're 0-0 or even when you're losing, is to have a bit more defensive stability. So let's say you got a rough tactic like this. We're going to bring a lot of things and we're going to change a lot of things and bring a lot of things down. So the first one is defensive style. Now you're going to say to me, okay, Neil, you know what? I can bring back the defensive style. That's not a problem. But then I like my defensive line to be back. All you have to do to compensate for that is just reduce the width and the depth. So I'm just going to show you here. I'm going to annotate it so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. That way you kind of get the idea. If I reduce my width now all the way to around about 40. And the reason why is with 40, you got a good width because you don't want to be so wide because there's still these areas that people can exploit. Because don't forget, especially when you're attacking, remember, when you're attacking the 3-5-2, these guys are not there. So you could get done down the wing. So the idea is when you lose the ball, that transition period, you just want to be as narrow as possible. And because the formation is quite wide naturally, you don't want to be breaking apart too much. The depth, very similarly, you can reduce this to 35. I think 35 this year is the perfect balance. It sounds defensive, but it's really not. When used in game, you're going to see they still sit pretty high. Don't forget, this is when your opponent has the ball, how high the depth of your shape is going to be. The key thing is not leaving this too high. You put your defensive line here, a simple through ball in behind can kill you, especially in team of the season. Even with team of the season defenders, you can still get caught because the team of the season attackers, the AI, how fast they are, everyone's already got 99 sprint speed as it is. So don't want to keep it too high. Similarly, you don't want to keep it too low, especially with direct passing, especially on this. By the way, this is for both old gen and new gen. But the lower you leave your defensive line, especially on new gen, is that if the ball comes like this, someone is like a first time pass, your defensive line is so far back, you're going to get caught. So you don't want your defense line to be so far back where you got your opponent's got so much space inside the box to then tackle. So if you're on new gen, reduce your depth a bit, or so increase it a bit higher. Old gen, you can put it a bit lower. That's the only difference. Defensive style, I will go a bit of slow build-up play. Now, I've always used slow build-up play in the 3-5-2. It's less aggressive, but it actually helps you score more goals. Because what happens is the average player, and I'm talking about people who are below rank 3. If you're below rank 3, this will work for you. And the reason why is, when you play with a 3-5-2, people just surge forward. And when you go for the counter attack, although you might think that's what you want to do, you end up playing a risky pass here and there and you don't have support. It's better for all your players to go forward, and that way you can create, if your opponent's playing a back 4, you can create that 5 versus 4. You want to wait for that situation. And plus slow build-up play, if you're getting pressed or your opponent's using a bit of pressure, especially during team season, there's going to be a lot of sweat. Slow build-up play is going to help you alleviate pressure when you're getting pressed, because when you go forward, you're only going to have 3 guys at the back and 2 CDMs. You're going to get congested inside the middle and you got no one else to pass to. So the benefit of this is that you're going to have those passing options to pass the ball to your left mid, right mid. You can do the 1-2s, you can bounce them back. So it will help you avoid the press. Not only will it help you attack, it will slow your build-up play down, so you can still don't forget, you can still use 1-2s and L1 triggers to make it quicker. That's what I do. I just use L1 triggers, so I don't even use long ball anymore because I just do this all manually. Slow build-up play is definitely the way to go. Now with chance creation, unlike the entire community, there is 2. Forward runs, I still use most of the time over direct passing. If you're on new gen, you may prefer direct passing, okay? If you're on old gen, you'd probably prefer forward runs from my take, okay? I would say use both and see what suits you because everyone plays different. If you're a guy that passes the ball around a lot more, you may prefer direct passing. I like to get the ball A to Z, be a bit direct. If I can't go forward, then I recycle. I like to be direct, so I prefer forward runs. Use either one of those 2. Do not use these 2. You can use balance, but I think it's a bit too slow. Definitely, I would say forward runs or direct passing. The width, just put this down to about 45. And the reason for this is because we're going to put the left mid and right mid as wide as possible. And that is it. Players in the box. Now, I would say you can leave this on 7. Because what you want to do basically is you still want to be attacking and your CDMs are going to be on the outside. The thing that we can change though is when we defend, we want to make it so we defend. So everyone, how you defend normally, you defend in a 5-2-1-2, right? We want it to defend in a 5. So these guys come back 5, 3, 1-1. So that's the way we're going to change it. So we're going to make a striker become a centre mid. And the way we do that, by the way, is putting one of these players on comeback and defence, and the rest of these players on stay forward. And by the way, while I mentioned, I just want to say I got an actual video series on my FIFA School Series, patreon.com/NealGuides. Don't forget this video is sponsored by no one else, but sponsored by myself. Patreon.com/NealGuides. You want to get better at FIFA, you can come join the FIFA School Series. If you don't get better after 1 month, I'll refund your money. You can learn how to use the third man. And of course, you can see that my most watched series, I believe, is a Division 10 all the way to Elite Division series, where we play from Division 10 to Elite Division with just basic football. No skill moves, no mechanic abusing, no through ball spam, no shot cancels, nothing. Just basic football to show that anyone can do it. We use a 100k team and we use a 2 million coin team to show you that the team doesn't matter either. It's all about basic gameplay. Full commentary on that and controls are all there. Link is down below in the description. But anyway, as I mentioned, I got a video on a 352 how to use it. The reason why you want to do this, and you could just put stay central and get it behind on these guys. The reason why this is important is that you need your cam to be on stay forward. If you put this guy on come back in defense, he just comes back a little bit more. That's it. But when you put your striker on come back in defense, he ends up making a 3-man midfield. And that is how you defend in a 5-3-1-1. So one of your strikers, the one with the most, the guy who's got, so for example, here I put Tecatito there, or I put Cancelo. So I normally put Cancelo there. And Cancelo plays as a striker, but he also plays as a centre mid. So when I have defensively, he's on come back. Attacking, he's on stay forward. So you know what I'm saying? So he comes back on defence. Left mid and right mid, come back on defence. I would say balanced, not get into the box how I normally do it. Come back in defence, balanced, stay wide, and get in behind. And the reason why I want to say stay wide is, if you know how to use hug the sidelines, you can turn this on balance. But if you have no idea what hug the sidelines are, and you don't use deep pad tactics, I'd highly recommend putting stay wide. As I said, when you're building up, you're going to get stuck with just getting congested and getting pressed from the middle. These guys are going to be your outlet players to pass the ball if you're getting congested inside your box. So always use your left mid and right mid to pass the ball to when you want to. Get in behind as well. Both CDMs, I'll put cut passing lane, stay back while attacking and cover set. Now, whichever player you put on comeback in defense, they will move to the left-hand side. So if Cancelo here will become a left centre mid, Camus become a centre mid, and he can become like a right CDM. So kind of think about like a left CDM, centre defense CDM, and right CDM. Think about it that way. So whoever this player is going to be in the middle. So if you want, for example, Kimi to be in the middle, because I prefer things a bit faster, switch him around. The back line, he didn't want to stay back. Just do not do any of this and leave this guy on balance. Don't put him on joint and don't put him on overlap. Any of these guys, okay? Especially not these guys, because that is where you'll become even more aggressive and you could probably concede more goals. So definitely put this unbalanced. Same with the goalkeeper. What I would say though is, if you find that this is still too attacking, just use balance, okay? The only downside with balance is you're going to have to do the L1 triggers yourself, and that is fine because you got to get in behind anywhere on your strikers. So I would say just whatever you do, just don't use possession, because that's most anti. Remember, if you want to create space, you create space by someone moving away from you, not coming towards you. Someone comes towards you, your opponent's going to come with that player, and then you're going to be under more pressure and you're going to get pressed even more. Always remember that L1 triggers are the way to get out of pressure, not bringing someone close. Too many times see players on the R1 button. But anyway, that is what I'd recommend. This is the more defensive variation. Can you use this the entire game? Yes, you can. We're going to have a complete revamp of tactics tomorrow, because now it's team in the season time. It's a complete sweat mode. So these 3-5-2 tactics you're going to see are going to be different from tomorrow's, because tomorrow's going to be more attacking. This is the more defensive variation. So if you want to start the game in a 5-3-1-1, you can do it with this formation. Don't forget our Patreon series, patreon.com/NealGuides. The link is down below in the description. And where I go over all the videos. And of course, we have the video series from last year, how to use the 3-5-2 videos. The series, how to use the 3-5-2. And of course, we have all the defending videos as well. Link is down below in the description. And don't forget, if you don't get better after 1 month, I'll refund your money. That is a NealGuides guarantee. That is how sure I am you'll get better. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Take it easy. And of course, I'll catch you tomorrow for the tactics video. Stay tuned. It should be around about Saturday afternoon, I'll say. Saturday afternoon. Thanks for watching. And of course, I'll catch you next time. Peace out.